hell? I could have stayed in Las Vegas. I'd have saved a fortune. I need you to sign that paperwork with me.
If we don't have any other choice by that point, I'll sign the paperwork.
I need you to be there. You have to sign.
Logical theories? Oh sure, let me just put on my thinking cap and solve the enigma that is Kody Brown. The guy just spews nonsense because, well, he enjoys hearing himself talk. Remember, he was the one who insisted they pack up and leave. Classic Kody move. He's like the human embodiment of an impulsive toddler, always looking for the next shiny thing. Oh, and I didn't realize they'd moved so often. Apparently, they were only in that Lehigh house for, 5 years? Who even keeps track anymore? Maybe it was the same source that told me he had some grand plan when they left Vegas. Spoiler, he didn't. Kody just gets restless. Heck, even Madison called him out, saying the family was upset she wasn't jumping on the follow us everywhere bandwagon to Flagstaff. I mean, can you blame her? If she followed them around every time they got bored, she'd never have a chance to settle anywhere. They had a pretty good setup in Vegas, didn't they? The whole thing worked out surprisingly well for the other wives, even when everything hit the fan. But seriously, imagine how different things could have been if they'd stayed. They probably could have weathered the pandemic just fine. But no, Kody's bored, so he decides to drag the whole family out of Vegas. Why? Because his ego needed a fresh stage and some new drama. I wouldn't be surprised if he thought moving to Flagstaff would shake things up and keep the show interesting. Mission accomplished, but at the cost of his family. I honestly think the only thing that made Kody leave the cul-de-sac was the fact that everyone seemed too content. His fragile ego couldn't handle seeing people happy after they all busted their butts to get those homes. Some people say it was because Dayton was going to school in Flagstaff, and Robyn couldn't bear to be apart from him. Who knows? Maybe she was secretly pulling the strings behind the scenes, but I'm guessing she played a much bigger role than we'll ever hear about. The whole decision felt rushed, like Kody was operating on a whim rather than a rational thought. And let's not forget, he still had kids in high school. Why not wait until they graduated before uprooting the whole family? But no, Kody's need for instant gratification and drama was too strong. So yeah, in the end, Kody brought the downfall of the family on himself, not just with the move and the chaos that followed, but with his relentless ego and selfishness. What a gem! We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. If anyone is wondering why polygamy is illegal, look no further than Kody Brown. He's the poster child for why it should stay that way. From the start, the guy had more kids than he could handle, and it was painfully obvious. His children were practically starving for their dad's attention, and it only got worse when Robyn showed up on the scene. As they grew older, it became even clearer no one was getting the time or care they deserved. Honestly, if a man really respected women and believed in the sanctity of marriage, why on earth would he want to degrade them by spreading his time, affection, and resources so thin? If he truly loved his kids of any age, he would be at every important event, every doctor's appointment, every special moment. But no, Kody's behavior is driven by pure narcissism, not religion. When's the last time he did or said anything remotely spiritual? Please spare me. The women who marry these guys are so brainwashed by the idea of polygamous love that they can't even see how much they're cheating themselves into their children. If it takes laws to protect the women and the innocent kids caught up in this mess, I'm all for it. They follow all the worst parts of polygamy and conveniently ignore the good stuff. Where's the charity? Oh right, it's nowhere to be found. But when it comes to controlling women, suddenly he's the most devout man on the planet. And let's talk about the cherry on top. The guy used social services to feed and care for his own children while living in $1 million house. His 18 kids didn't have health care, but sure, Kody and his wives lived in the lap of luxury. That's some top-tier irresponsibility right there. Oh, and let's not forget their bankruptcy strategy. They made sure to file with huge debts while cleverly hiding assets in the names of other wives. So, on paper, Janelle or Christine looked like single moms with a whole bunch of kids and nothing to their name. Mary's situation was a bit different because, she was actually legally married, but still, the family got to keep assets they would have lost otherwise. All thanks to some creative financial maneuvering. Okay, so here's my take, though it's probably not the most popular opinion. After rewatching, I'm actually getting pretty fed up with how Leon treated Mary during the whole catfishing drama. I mean, I get it, Leon was angry. Their mom got herself wrapped up in this mess, and that's frustrating. But the way Leon shut Mary out for months instead of just talking it through, absolutely ridiculous. Mary just wanted to reconnect, to understand what happened, and maybe start repairing things. But Leon? They were so stubborn. Sure, they were figuring themselves out, probably needing space after coming out as gay, but it honestly just felt cruel to me. Mary was trying, and Leon wanted nothing to do with it. And now, knowing the whole catfish situation, I get why Leon was frustrated. It must have been maddening to see Mary ignore their warnings and go ahead and trust someone who was clearly a fraud. And then, when everything blows up, Mary tries to spin it like it was just a harmless friendship. Seriously? Talk about gaslighting. And let's not forget the next catfish she found and introduced to Leon. It's like she couldn't stop digging herself deeper into this hole. At some point, she could have just owned up to what happened and moved on. Now, there's something we can't overlook. Leon knew about the affair while it was happening. They were trying to get their mom out of it, watching her knowingly choose to cheat, even though they knew better. And online affairs, still affairs, people. So I get why Leon was angry. It's one thing for a parent to cheat, but for their kid to be stuck in this adult position of having to play mediator, that's a whole new level of unfair. Mary put Leon in a really messed up situation, and I don't blame them for needing space or being pissed off. Mary just wanted everyone to buy her narrative that she was tricked, but Leon wasn't having it. From Mary's perspective, though, I get it. She wanted love, attention, and validation, stuff she was missing after Leon left. She was looking for something, anything, to feel wanted. But from Leon's point of view, it probably felt like Mom had blown up the family with her affair. Mary didn't give Leon a chance to process it, to understand why they were so angry. It's complicated. A lot of feelings are tangled up here. And honestly, Mary really reminds me of my mom. Really reminds me of her. My mom will get stuck on an issue, and it's like I'm forced to hear the same thing over and over again, with no progress. It's exhausting. I'm expected to listen, comfort her, tell her it's not her fault, and that's it. It's all rehashing and zero growth. And as viewers, we were all getting pretty tired of hearing about it. So yeah, I can't even imagine how draining it must have been for Leon, living in that house, listening to the same thing 24/7 for months. I just rewatched that episode where Robyn went on and on about wanting to sit on a porch with her sister wives. At first, I thought, oh, how sweet. She just wants to bond with the family. Hang out with her sister wives, the usual wholesome stuff. But then I had an epiphany. What if the producers conveniently cut out the rest of her line? What if Robyn actually said, I want to sit on a porch with my sister wives, while they clean up after me and take care of my precious tender-aged children, so that Kody and I can have some much-needed quality time together. After all, those other wives had 16 years with him before I came into the picture, so hey, they owe me. And here's the kicker. Robyn's porch dream isn't even original. We already heard it from Mary years ago when her mom passed away. Mary was devastated that her mother never got to live out her dream of sitting on a porch with her sister wives, enjoying their grandchildren. It was an emotional, heartfelt moment for her, and now here comes Robyn, fake crying while parroting the exact same thing. I mean, really? If this is some deep cultural tradition, feel free to correct me. but this feels more like Robyn just recycling someone else's feelings for her own convenience. Honestly, I do think Robyn might miss the rest of the family eventually, maybe, but it would probably be because she used them as props at her kids' birthday parties or whatever event makes her look good in front of the cameras. She's burned so many bridges with Janelle and Christine, and, let's be honest, their kids too, that I'm not sure there's much left for her to miss. Robyn had plenty of time to sit on the porch with her sister wives, and she chose not to. Mary, who was practically alone for a while, made it clear she was never really invited to Robyn's house, and Robyn just ignored her. And the best part? Robyn's whole dream of sitting on the porch was straight up stolen from Mary. Mary was the one who said it first. Robyn is honestly the most inauthentic person I've ever seen on TV. It's like every major moment in her life was just borrowed from someone else. What a pathetic user. Oh, Janelle really knows how to hit you where it hurts, doesn't she? So I'm working from home, rewatching this episode, and I'm up to Season 6, Episode 15. Garrison's just been accepted into the National Guard, and of course, everyone's debating the worst-case scenario. Some are worried he might not come home, while Janelle, ever the optimist, throws in the delightful possibility that he might return emotionally damaged. Gee, thanks, Janelle. That really lightens the mood. I know we'll never really understand why Garrison made the choices he did, but hearing her say that, it just hit me in the gut. My heart breaks for his family. As a parent myself, I can totally relate to the fear of sending a vulnerable child out into the world where they're at risk of being hurt or ignored. My son, for example, shy, quiet, the kind of kid who'd rather hide behind a book than make small talk, was always a little bit of a concern. But somehow, from kindergarten all the way through university, he always found a group of kids who took him under their wing. The old souls who saw his quiet nature as a strength rather than something to pick on. Fast forward to adulthood, and he's still a little reserved, but married and doing really well professionally. So yeah, not all vulnerable kids end up in a pit of despair. But that fear, it's real. Sending your kid out into the world, hoping they won't get crushed by it, is a unique kind of letting go. And Janelle's comment, it was a harsh reminder of how terrifying it is to send someone off into the military, where emotional damage isn't exactly the exception. But then, what really got me thinking was how the parents didn't seem nearly as concerned about the emotional wreckage they were leaving behind. They were way more focused on their own lives, their own drama, than the kind of harm their own behavior might be causing their kids. Yeah, Janelle's point was valid. Sure, the military can change someone forever. But did anyone in the family ever wonder what their constant disregard for their kids' emotions would do? All the older kids had things to say, but whoever actually listened? Honestly, I wasn't shocked by the news about Garrison, not one bit. But I do hope the family starts healing, and I don't just mean physically. I'm talking about emotional healing on every level, because they sure need it. Dear Kody, where do I even start? You are the definition of an arrogant, self-centered jerk. Seriously, it's like you've spent years perfecting the art of treating your 3 original wives like absolute garbage while Robyn somehow earned your favor. Maybe you should consider that Robyn isn't the only one who's been trying to get your attention. Just ask your ex-wives. But the real cherry on top of your sad, egotistical cake, not showing up for Isabel's surgery, that was beyond unforgivable. You've proven time and time again that your self-absorbed little world is all that matters to you. Do you honestly think you have any fans? Maybe take a stroll through Reddit sometime and read the scathing comments. Spoiler: the consensus is that you're basically the worst human ever. Let's talk about Robyn for a second. You don't actually care about her, do you? You're using her just like you've used everyone else in your life. It's painfully obvious. You don't have the capacity to see it, though, because you're too busy stroking your fragile ego. You have beautiful, intelligent children, yet most of them are now grown up, and seeing you for who you really are. That's why they keep their distance. And honestly, who can blame them? You've done more than enough to alienate them. And then there's that masterclass in humiliation you delivered on the Mormonism Live podcast. RFM and Bill Reel didn't just wipe the floor with you. They dragged your ego through the mud with their knowledge of Mormon faith. You tried so hard to act like you had a clue, but it just made you look like an absolute fool. So how's that hit to your precious ego? Hope it didn't bruise too badly. I'd recommend therapy, but we both know it would be a waste. You're so blind to your own faults. It's like trying to reason with a brick wall. And constructive criticism. Forget it. Just the thought of it seems to send you into a tailspin. Poor, fragile soul. If you want to redeem yourself at all, and that's a big if, maybe start by offering a sincere apology to your ex-wives and kids. But let's be real, you don't have the courage or humility to do that. So here's an idea. How about acting like a grown-up for once and splitting the property on Koyo Pass fairly? Maybe even make a slight effort to pay them back for all the money they wasted on you. Oh, and stop wasting money on useless crap like art, Rolex watches, and tacky horse rings. You're a disgrace as a father, as a husband, and frankly, as a man. As for Isabel surgery, I had the same one when I was her age. You know what my parents did? They moved heaven and earth to be there for me. My dad didn't just sit around and make excuses. He showed up because that's what a real parent does. He even left my brothers with my grandmother, gasp, so he could be there for me. And guess what? Both of my brothers grew up just fine without the sacrifice of their parents' presence being some unbearable tragedy. You failed not only 13 kids, but their spouses and your grandkids too. The silver lining here? They're all free. They've escaped the toxicity that is the Brown family cult. I'm sure they're all breathing a little easier now. Oh, I just had a hilarious thought tonight. Have you guys ever considered the possibility that if David had adopted Truly, her name would have been Truly Wooly? I mean, could you imagine? Truly Wooly. That poor kid would be destined for a lifetime of awkward introductions. It cracked me up when I thought about it. And hey, don't get me wrong, I love Christine, but her kids' names are like the epitome of Mormon/Utah vibes. As someone who spent 25 years in Utah, trust me, I've seen my fair share of names, and hers are top tier in the Utah Name Hall of Fame. Isabel's surgery is over, but the real pain is how Kody behaved throughout it all. It's a complete joke that he claims he couldn't go with her to the surgery because of the rest of the family. Really? He openly admits that he doesn't see or stay with Miri, and he's not staying at Janelle's because the boys are busy with school and work. So the only people he's spending time with are Robyn and her kids. He made it crystal clear. He chose Robyn over Isabel. It would have been so simple for him to go with Isabel, quarantine with Christine afterward when they got back to Flagstaff, and still get back to Robyn. But nope, he outright picked Robyn. And anyone who believes his excuse about COVID is kidding themselves. If it had been Aurora needing surgery, Kody would have dropped everyone else in a second. That's unforgivable. Isabel's surgery wasn't some last-minute thing. It was scheduled well in advance, giving Kody more than enough time to figure out how to be there for his daughter, even if it meant missing a few days with Robyn. But he didn't bother. He didn't want to go, didn't want to be there for her, despite her suffering. He probably had no clue how much pain she was in, because he wasn't around. Or, more likely, he just didn't care to find out. And once she was back from surgery, no surprise, he didn't step in to help her recover. He's a terrible father, and there's no denying it. The worst part? Kody didn't even consider Isabel in his decision. He was more focused on punishing Christine, thinking that skipping the surgery would somehow teach her a lesson. She'll see how hard it is without me. Yeah, but what he missed is that they've all been doing everything without him for ages now. Isabel deserved so much better. How can Robyn feel proud of her prize when Kody's such a piece of garbage. Let's not forget the bigger picture here. Kody has never shed a tear over not seeing his other kids for more than a few days, except for Aurora, of course. He and Robyn had no issue leaving all 15 kids behind for an 11 to 12-day honeymoon, but suddenly, when his daughter needs a major surgery, he can't be away from his family. As if visible isn't family. Kody's true colors were on full display. He didn't want to pay for the surgery, didn't want to leave Robyn, and didn't want to take any effort to travel safely. And, of course, it wasn't going to be worth his time unless there was a camera involved. Then, as if all that wasn't enough, he shows his true misogyny by questioning if Isabel will just turn into a bitter housewife, because he didn't lift a finger to support her through her recovery. What a disgusting, selfish, and utterly thoughtless man. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.